Alrighty guys, what is going up? Welcome back to the best investing money management channel on YouTube. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the one, the only ticker symbol F, Ford Motor Company. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys get anything in value out of this video, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, concerns, make sure you ask them down in the comments, guys. Come on. So for those of you that don't know what Ford is, you literally must be living under a rock, because Ford is the car manufacturer. They're based out of Dearborn, Michigan. The company over the past couple of years have seen, great growth, and over the past 2 years, they've seen crazy growth from all the vehicles that they have coming out, right? They had the Mustang Mach-E, I believe is what they call it. They have the Ford Lightning. They have the Ford Bronco, 2 versions of that. They have a whole bunch of other electric vehicles, which we all know over the past couple of years, we've seen crazy growth from a ton of stocks, right? From Tesla, where this stock has literally just gone pretty much parabolic, right? You can see it didn't do much for years. And over the past 3, we've just seen extreme amount of buying pressure. We've seen companies just very similar to this, like NIO, didn't do much over the past couple of years. Extreme amount of buying pressure. Looking at Ford in the past has pretty much just been kind of stagnate, a lot of consolidation, a lot of sell-off, and the Ford in general was diluted by so much debt that they had to take on to get through a lot of tough years inside the business. But lately they've seen an extreme amount of buying pressure, where the stock has gone from $4 all the way up to $25. And the last time it was at this price, this was all the way in 2001, which is absolutely crazy. So given that we've seen this price before, a lot of people think that the next step is going to be for this thing to break out into some new highs here at $38. And realistically, could they do it? I definitely think there is a possibility, but there is some things you have to know before you invest in Ford. So looking at it here, you can see, right, we had this great upward trend. Anytime you invest in a stock, you have to understand a variety of things. The very first one is volume, right? You want people buying the stock, which Ford is heavily traded because it's really saturated with a lot of shares. Ford has done many stock splits where the stock has gone up. They split it to keep it affordable. The second thing you have to know is Ford did announce their dividend back. So every single quarter, you guys get paid a pretty decent dividend of about 10 cents a quarter, which, doesn't seem like much, but if you have, a couple of shares, it's going to start adding up very, very fast. Not to mention, guys, if we look at the yearly chart, you can see we've seen a lot of great growth. It does have this tendency to use that 200 moving average line, which is this yellow line, as some support. So this is going to be the hardest point for the stock to break below, which is great because now you understand where the best time to buy Ford stock is going to be as close as you can get to that yellow line as possible. So looking at it, anytime you invest in a company that has seen, great growth over the past couple of years, we always will see a tendency to get sell-off. And that's kind of what we've seen, right? Where this stock has gone from $3 all the way up to 25, giving a return of 508%. So it's outperforming all the indexes, which is great. But look at this. This is what we call the RSI. So this pretty much represents the relative strength index in a stock. So it determines pretty much if a stock is overvalued or undervalued. And in my opinion, when it's in the red here, this is when it gets kind of overvalued. So we will see a tendency to see sell-off shortly after, or at least maybe a little bit of some consolidation inside the stock. So you can see right up in here, we did have a sell-off for a week, and then a little consolidation. It did pop up here again, where we saw a lot of sell-off. It did pop up here again, where we had a lot of consolidation. It did pop up here again, where we had sell-off. So was the sell-off expected that we've seen? Absolutely, right? Anytime, like I said, a stock goes up that much that quick, we always have a tendency to see sell-off. Not to mention, we've seen a lot of sell-off just in the general market over the past couple of weeks. So we're getting kind of a little bit of some feed off that just because there's a lot of fear in the market. But looking at Ford, right, you can see we had this day where the stock fell 9.7%. This was today, where the stock fell that much, that quick. And for Ford stock, that's a pretty decent fall. It's not as big as this one where it went from 24 to 20, but the stock went from 20 to 17, which is a pretty crazy fall. But you can see we're loaded up on Market Watch, and you can see Ford shares fell 9.7% on Friday after the company reported weaker than expected fourth quarter earnings. Not to mention, they confirmed that production will be rolled back at some plants next week. So anytime you have a rollback in any production company, that's going to dilute the stock. That's going to put a lot of fear in the market. And anytime you have fear, you will have sell-off. So looking at Ford's earnings, as you can see, right, we have a year-over-year return of minus 4.8% for revenue, which isn't very good. One of the main reasons we've seen a lot of sell-off with Ford is Ford's having a very hard time getting parts. They're having a hard time getting workers, and they're having a hard time getting these chips. They have a whole bunch of cars made, but they don't have the chips to actually make them functional. So I really think there is a lot of, I think that Ford right now is selling off due to pretty much the perfect storm where everything's kind of hitting them at once. So you can see net income's down. We have diluted EPS. The net profit margin, one of the most important things is the net profit margin fell about 19%. It's only at about 5.1%. Comparing that to Tesla's net profit margin is sitting at about 11 to 12%. But the difference between the two is Tesla pretty much makes all of their stuff in-house, which definitely saves them a lot of time, a lot of headache, because if they're having a problem, which they honestly are right now, they know where to kind of go for, that issue. They have it. So you can see, I definitely think that this was kind of an expected sell-off, right? We've seen all these previous beat earnings, and this was the past one that we missed. And companies miss earnings. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. I definitely think we will probably see a little more sell-off back down to about $15, $16, but the outlook for Ford is pretty decent. They did a great job over the past couple of years of buying up a lot of that debt that they placed. They were hundreds of billion dollars in debt, but over the past couple of years, they've slowly been paying that off, which is fantastic. Holding a lot of cash, which is good too. I definitely think right now, answering that question of should you buy Ford, I definitely think a good strategy, dollar cost average it. Just invest on a weekly or monthly basis and don't even look at it. If you guys have a strong long-term outlook for Ford, which I personally think it does carry a little bit of some potential in the electric auto space, keep it under about 5% of your portfolio size. So for every $100 you have invested into other assets or stocks, put $5 in Ford, let it hold, use DRIP, so all those dividends will get reinvested so you can grow that more and get more shares. But I definitely think Ford's on it, a little bit of sell-off, probably a little bit more. That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe. We will see you guys later. Remember to stay happy, guys, stay positive, and stay safe out there. Take care.